and large, and young one say, on for our shell, my America Bantin so, a bossy, say, a Ibrahim Hamampi in your circle could drove Accra, no cray, actually, a man sign paying for. And Potoka say, we ever had some paying spoke truth to power. But power also, one failure and pimpy. When you push against power, power pushes back. Already your IMF, your challenges, but community.
Irbad Ibrahim, security analyst.
Here and there, we rely heavily on the Bretton Woods institutions, World Bank, programs, World Health Organization.
Power will push against you.
Drone. Oh yeah, Memasema, Pimpy, Nipa, a consent, say,
Ghana rely on the Bretton Woods institutions.
Actually, I'm sign. Okay, you company that Ghana beyond 8. Okokasa, Ewa, na ebi mo drink say beyond 8 there no interest Ghana for mommy and
won't you rely on them again?
But on the floor of the UN General Assembly,
Ghana beyond 8, Akufado's time.
But historically, Ghanaian presidents have really spoken well. And historically,
later we went begging with baskets.
To Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Usually we become the focus. Once in a while, we say. The first time Dr. Kwame Nkrumah addressed the UN, he was the focus of the international community because he led the sub-Saharan African country to be the first to gain independence. And he will be summing a general assessment there. On the floor of the UN General Assembly, I'm proud of him. I'm proud to be a Ghanaian. There is no way your best son, your mom, and I did bring her or my for. But some people are concerned. Say, I say, when you was oh, Kochikawa, the was here. 1 year, and about the amount. That's the only concern. But
International security analyst Irbad Ibrahim has revealed that how President John Dramani Mahama spoke and the issues that he tackled is likely to bring troubles for Ghana, especially as Ghana relies on some of these international institutions for support, aid, and a number of these things. President maybe should have relaxed in his speech. However, he congratulated the president, saying that he hopes that the president of Ghana put everything in place so that when some of these people start withdrawing their aid and other freebies to Ghana, we don't get found wanting.
Maybe the handlers of the president have to tell us before he hit the floor of the UN General Assembly.
People shed their blood on African soil in the fight against apartheid. And indeed, Cuba has been and continues to be a faithful friend of Africa. You see, the very fact that I can stand here and ask these things and say these things, and the fact that all nations can ostensibly gather here to address critical global issues, air our grievances and express our concerns, that is what makes the survival of this organization so important. In every old city or village, you will find a town square, or a courtyard, or a plaza that once served as a gathering space for the citizens of the community and their leaders. Meetings and celebrations were held there, as were trials and elections. And these were spaces that brought people together and held them together as a community. Sadly, time and technology have eroded these spaces.
But on the floor of the UN General Assembly, I think historically, but historically, Ghanaian presidents have really spoken well. And historically, I make a reference to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Usually we become the focus. Once in a while, we say. The first time Dr. Kwame Nkrumah addressed the UN, he was the focus of the international community because he led the sub-Saharan African country to be the first to gain independence. And he will be summing general assessment there. Mr. Mampini, Masam on the floor of the UN General Assembly. Me Fuaso. I'm proud of him. I'm proud to be a Ghanaian. There is no way your best son, your Mampini, Ediama Latafo, and I did bring her or my fofo. But some people are concerned, say, I say, when was it? Oh, Kochikawa, Biachra was here. One year, and about the Amao. Into coffee. That is the only concern I'm making. But apart from that, Neokain, I don't know. It's a pair on the first video, our boy, Cuba and America. Let's begin to understand, say, in international relations, hostilities are not cases that are handed over generation after generation. United States say, baby, I always say coffee. Many of the cities, almost say the new account one, actually say, Great Britain and UK, Abuchimemwa, no more side in that. Into York say, if you were UK, into British na establish colonies in America, into New York, now the new account. Jersey say, it be our UK, now the new account. And the UK and the US went to war. Many people were killed. But and what UK and the US? Sebi Omobokusia etafre. Inti Fidel Castro, Onihobio, Niniara Castro, and I take you over. So I think the import of the Ghanaian president's speech, His Excellency John Mahama, is saying the world has grown past the Cold War era, when the Soviet Union, which was representing communism and socialism, and the leader of the Western Hemisphere, the United States, representing capitalism and democracy. Now, I say, there was a clash of civilizations. Countries within the American continent or on the American continent are leaning towards the Soviet Union, not hostility among any America and but to say the Cold War is over, the world has moved on. Russia, Vladimir Putin, and Che, and then Orchestra and Donald Trump, our America. And I think say the call from the president on the international relations point is a good call. Say, let's not hand down, hostilities of the past, as if say, no me beer. One night, no meaning, also, Papa, so no meaning, into also a ban, no, there should be a point to say, let's put the hostilities of the past in the past. The way US and UK and Kasa say, Moya Bibia Ebomo is a good call. But your domestic interest, Accra, in the call the president has made historically, you say the AFRC, PNDC, NDC philosophy, align into among so socialist democracy. More align Accra with Cuba. And you say Cuba for Abua Ghana and Kasa in the dispatch of doctors, Mobile Sum Ghana, Ewaha, and Ghanaian students, Cuba, Edo Marco Cuba, and Havana for training in Kikau to become medical doctors. And it was a double-edged speech on the first video you played. And it said, Mampeni is calling for a new world order beyond the hostility.
Now, he went a step further to reveal that he believes that the president spoke like that because he is an outgoing president and that he is not contesting again. In fact, he is not going for re-election. This unlikely was the situation of most of the African leaders, and that is the reason why they may not be able to speak like the president, because in international relations, if you have re-election or if you be contesting again and you go speak against or you go speak truth to power to the superpowers, they are highly likely to sabotage you during elections. They may even kick you out in your next election. But President John Dramani Mahama is not contesting any presidency again. In fact, this is going to be his last tenure, which he said that is one of the reasons why the president spoke his mind and spoke what was on his chest.
before he hit the floor of the UN General Assembly. Could draw away here. Say, and in a train. Then a bear, baby, he was fantastic on every score. And you see, the president has something other African leaders at the UN do not have, and I did not have. Okay. Many a times, to me, you will go for re-election. And through civil society organizations, international media houses, and all that, historically, no, about you the sabotage. Okay. Or Kagame still be as Rwanda is doing well, but through the media, a more friend, benevolent dictator. So, what His Excellency John Mahama took to the floor of the UN General Assembly and said, Mayama Penyida, Maba a second time, Ba Mabai, me we are Meko. Enti bibi sheme bumpo a sheme kukumu a metimi akamana.
Okay. Okay. So you think the boldness, stem from the fact that he will not be contesting again, and so if he does the right thing and the Mobeka could that also be the reason?
In part, because after this recording and this interview, who go back to the body language of our president during his first term, how to me who says, I am different.
Kofi TV.
In part, Mecca said the fact that he doesn't fear any sabotage because he will not seek re-election. Let's prepare ourselves as Ghanaians. Let the world also prepare to see a President John Mahama that will leave no holds barred. A President Mahama obey unbridled. A President Mahama obey canaging. And I believe that is what some African countries lack. Because it's one of two things. Two terms are wider than Opusha a third term. Adam put that address. Still, I was and I can give examples. Ivory Coast, Papi, third term. Other countries, and it's one of those things. And at the second, if I'm not national people, it will say, "Okay, we be here about follow." It's your UN General Assembly meeting. That's a rehash of the Obia. But my money will go or them we are. Let me know my time. Into no prayer why I was the medical of phone. It's not pass. They shouldn't continue to build Africa through the lens of colonialism and imperialism. If they consider that as children,
now he revealed all of this in an interview with Kofi Mahama on Kofi TV. Now, after the general analysis and whatever Irbad said, what do you also think? Do you think, his analysis is in the right direction? Do you think how President John Dramani Mahama spoke truth to power is likely to bite us in the face, or nothing is going to happen? Leave your comment in the comment section.